speaking of who else is in that division, we have the LA Chargers with Justin Herbert, who that was probably the best game of the week when you look at the scoring, when you look at kind of the back and forth that happened in that game. And the Chargers end up winning a shootout 47-42 against the Cleveland Browns in LA. And now the Chargers are sitting there at 4-1, look to be in control of that division for the moment. And this is a team that's kind of finally put these pieces together. You got Keenan Allen and Mike Williams making plays. You got Austin Eckler, who, as soon as Austin Eckler got the opportunity behind Melvin Gordon, they realized we don't need Melvin Gordon anymore because Austin Eckler can do it all. He
was ridiculous Sunday night. My God.
He's a hard runner. He's a hard-nosed runner. He's always going to fight for extra yards, and he's great out of the backfield catching the ball. And then you have all these pieces, and you finally get a quarterback who can push it down the field, who's willing to take risks, but also is willing to not make mistakes when he doesn't have to. And that's Justin Herbert. Just look at these numbers from this guy. I mean, almost 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in this duel against Baker Mayfield and that hard running Cleveland Browns team. I don't know how much of this game you caught while you were on the road, Jeremy, but this was the game of the week for me as far as interest wise.
I had Red Zone playing on my phone, but the reception was spotty. But I got an opportunity to really kind of get, one thing I was paying attention to was the fantasy element, just because I was looking at because Tommy jumped up out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, Herbert dropped like 50 fantasy points, and I started seeing that number rise, and so I was really paying attention to this. But yeah, when they missed that extra point, and I was like, oh man, after all this, you missed an extra point to tie it, but then they still were able. I mean, it was a great game. It's kind of what you're wanting out of football. 2 young quarterbacks who, have a lot of potential to be a big deal. And like Justin Herbert just continues to prove that he might be the future of the league. You know what I mean? He may be. I mean, he's fantastic. And I loved everything about this game. It was both teams played well enough to win. It was just kind of who's going to get the ball at the last second. But yeah, big shout out to both teams. And I mean, look, I know as a Chargers fan, I mean, I know there's like a lot of bitterness probably, or not I don't know you're a Chargers fan, but from San Diego. So you were there because of your previous career. And so you had an attachment to them, but is there bitterness with them being in Los Angeles? Or
there's a ton of bitterness. So when I got to San Diego, it was the first year that the Chargers were up in LA. And the people in San Diego are so mad about Dean Spanos and that team moving there. I think really the ones that are really bitter about it, they were still rooting for them because of Phillip Rivers. They were still rooting for them because of Antonio Gates. I think there's a segment of that population in San Diego that now that those guys are gone, they're kind of done with the Chargers. And just because they feel so bitter about the way that things happen. But there are people that followed him up there. There are people that are still going to be do or die Charger. That does exist. It's not all one way or the other. Yeah. And man, this team's exciting. They really are.
And that facility they play in, I mean, it's just beautiful. It's gorgeous. So, I mean, they got a lot. They've got a lot of positive things, and it's led by Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and that defense, obviously, they gave up 42 points, whatever. But that defense has some big players. When you look at Bosa on that front line, when you look at Derwin James and what a hybrid he is and how athletic he is and the things he can do on the defensive end, they've got a future over the next couple of years. They've got a window here. And I don't think you can really overhype Justin Herbert. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can't overhype him enough, but I don't think the hype is there for him on the national level like it probably should be based on his rookie season when he came right up to that touchdown record for rookie quarterbacks, and now he's continuing it this year. A lot of positive things going for the Chargers in the future. And that's a good thing because it's good when Kansas City is struggling and somebody else is coming up. It's good when you can root against the villain because people are a little bit tired of the Chiefs now. We've got a young Chargers team. People are going to root for them, and that's good.
Yep. Absolutely.